Every time you ask me about my brain pain, I tell you, take me to that place that we used to do. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Oh, 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 oh. Every time you ask me about my brain pain, I tell you, take me to that place that we used to do. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Oh, 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 oh.
Good morning to the early birds, good afternoon to the sleepyheads, good evening to the hustlers, and good night to the entrepreneurs. I'm not the best at what I do, but I love it, and I hope you do too. Welcome to the Pearls to Swine podcast. Today's guest is Kaden. Kaden, we're happy to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, man?
20 years old. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm an electrician. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Do you like being an electrician?
Yeah, I do.
How long have you been doing that?
About 3 years now. It's my third year being an electrician, so.
Nice.
Yep.
You going to make a career out of it?
I'd like to, yes.
All right.
That's my hope.
I think you will, and I think you're going to do just fine.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Number one, what question do you wish you knew that you had the answers to?
A question that I wish I knew I had the answer to.
This is a tough one, huh?
Oh, yeah. I don't quite know.
That's okay. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to it. How about that?
All right.
What has been your greatest accomplishment?
I'd say in this point in my life, my greatest accomplishment would probably be the job that I have. I'm only 20. I don't got much going, but that is probably the greatest accomplishment that I've had. It sustains me and, keeps me going. And yeah, I'd say that's probably my greatest accomplishment.
I think at some point, there may be some listeners that are, interested in what you do and, how you got to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that, there'd be some that'd be interested in getting in touch with you to maybe, get some information from you about how they can do that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we'll get to that later in the show.
All right.
So, do you consider yourself to be successful?
In this point in my life, no, I don't consider myself to be successful. There's a few things about that success thing. There's a perspective on successfulness, and you can have no money and still be successful. But I don't see myself in any of those areas of success. I'm on the right path. I know that for sure. But physically being successful is definitely not where I'm at right now. I work hard and I try my best, and I invest in places where I think I invest my time in places where I think it would be beneficial to me, and I'm going to continue doing that. But as of the question, I don't think I'm very successful right now.
Okay. Fair enough. What do you think? What do you think you would need to do, or where do you think you'd need to be to consider yourself successful? In other words, is it financial, or you just feel like you're not, at a maturity, from a maturity perspective, you don't think you're successful, or do you have certain goals in mind maybe that you're thinking of that you haven't quite reached yet? I mean, what is it?
It's a little bit financial.
Okay.
For the most part. For me, being successful is not having to worry about the money that's in your bank account. And for me, every day I have to check my bank account and see how much I have and see how much, like what I'm able to do with what I have, either for it's getting food or, anything, really, bills and everything. Once I make enough money, essentially, or accumulate enough money to where, or have a system of income coming where I don't have to worry about my income, that's when I would consider myself successful, quote unquote.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. Next. Do you believe in life after death?
That's an interesting question because I'd like to believe in life after death. And there's been certain circumstances where I've been in where it's shown to me that there is a good chance of there being life after death. But I haven't died yet, so I don't know. I do not know if there is. I don't know if there isn't. I'm sure there's some sort of, I don't think that nothing happens after we die. I'm sure something happens. There's, we are a soul inside of a vessel that is made of meat and bones. I believe, sure, there's something that happens after we die. It can't be the only thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. That's a tough one. I think there are a lot of people that believe, both ways, essentially, and literally anything in between.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some crazy stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, okay. Next, do you believe that what you believe will have an impact on what will happen after you die?
It's a pretty controversial topic. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if what I believe in will impact what happens after I die. Some people in certain religions would like to believe that, their beliefs will impact what happens after they die. But nobody has died and come back and said that this has happened. Or this can't happen. So it's up in the air. For me, it's up in the air. People can have beliefs and all they want to believe and be whatever they want to be, but I don't really know what happens after you die.
Yeah, I brought that up because especially when it comes to religion,
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got pretty much their own belief. Each religion has their own belief, as far as concerning what happens after death.
Yeah.
And, I've always wondered, is it possible, that what you believe is, has an impact on what will actually happen?
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like,
very much is possible.
I mean,
It very much is
and
possible.
again, kind of the point you made earlier, no one's really, died and come back to say,
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're all kind of in the dark as of now. Maybe one day we'll know.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you believe there is a God?
Not saying I don't believe that there is a God, but I don't believe that we came from nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing comes from nothing. There has to be something to make something.
It's good logic.
And I don't believe that we just randomly appeared. Matter randomly came up in space and we just appeared. I don't believe that. We definitely came from something. What something? I do not know. I'm sure there's a higher power or, some spiritual power, but I don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
In a lot of religions today, they're like, I don't know the word really to describe it, but filtered would be my best word, or the best word I can put in that situation, because the Bible has been rewritten, I think, 14 times, interpreted by people with different languages that grew up in different areas. So every time somebody reads the Bible and wants to interpret it and rewrite it in their language, they take what the Bible says and think about what they have done and put those two together. So it's every time the Bible has been rewritten, it's a different version of the Bible. It's all different. And leaders and people in power have also had something to do with the Bible's, people rewriting the Bible. Leaders have something to do with that as well.
What do you mean by that? Like, you mean like they have motives during the interpretation? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like King James,
right.
In his version of the Bible. I mean, if you're in a place of power and in an indefinite place of power, would you want your people to know what is actually going to help them, or are you going to filter things, rip pages out like he did? He ripped pages out of the Bible, and it makes me wonder, what was on those pages that it was so important to rip out that he didn't want his people seeing. So people in places of power do those things, I feel. And I think King James did that for a reason. Either it's spiritual connection or something else that was in there that he didn't want his people seeing because it would risk his leadership, essentially. Sure. I think that's why he did that.
Or control.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. This next question is sort of a hypothetical, and you may not even have an answer to it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
This is one of the ones that I added that I was telling you about. If a book that I'll just read it. You can decide.
Mm-hmm.
If a book that claims to have answers to most of life's mysteries fell from the sky, how would you feel about that?
I would think it's being fed from us, from some sort of something. I don't know. Like, if a random book dropped from the sky, and I would think that it's something trying to get a hold of us, or take control or something. I don't. It's a little interesting.
Yeah, you'd be skeptical, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very skeptical.
The reason I put this question there is because I knew that the previous question would most likely have the Bible in the answer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I brought up 8, or the next question, if a book fell from the sky that claimed to have all the answers, how would you feel about that, is because, a lot of people, they view the Bible, and I'm not saying it isn't, but the Bible is viewed as, the know-all, be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to kind of, introduce a different perspective.
Yeah.
Which is, if we were here on Earth and that book were just to sort of magically appear, which, according to some of today's people, their versions of what we're talking about, and from their perspective, that's kind of how they see it.
Yeah.
They see it like this book was, supposedly written by, some super spiritual being, when in reality it was written by people.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that that everything in the Bible is wrong, or that it didn't really happen that way. I'm just trying to have people look at it from a different view. That's all.
Yeah, it was written by people who back then believed the word that was being spread, and it was like a notebook. They
like a record.
yeah, it's like a record. They saw it, they wrote it down.
Right.
And yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's cool. I have nothing against the Bible.
Yeah.
Please don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
I actually believe that most of it is real and true. Most of it by far, if not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the exception of Revelations, maybe. Some of that shit's just a little too far out there for me, you know?
Especially the prophecies that have been fulfilled in the Old Testament and the New Testament. The river of Euphrates and the parting of the Red Sea. There's undeniable and irrefutable evidence that something happened there, whether it's what the Bible says or not. There's glass, there is molten glass that's hardened on the river, or where Moses parted the Red Sea, and it said there was a big flame or a big fire. There's a giant section of hardened sand that has turned to pretty much glass.
Interesting.
Over that whole area.
Yeah. Wow.
Exactly where the Bible depicted that it happened.
Interesting.
Researchers and people went over there and found that out. And it's very interesting, actually, because it takes a lot of temperature to melt sand and turn it into a fully, rock hard substance.
Sure, high temperatures.
Yes.
Turning sand into glass.
And being, 2,000 years ago, I can't think of anything being strong enough or having enough firepower to melt glass like that or melt sand.
So what are you proposing? What's your theory?
My theory is I don't know. My theory is I have no clue. It could be a higher power. It could be technology that has been washed out since that time.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that, we are a far more advanced civilization back then than we are now.
Interesting.
There's technologies, especially in Egypt and those parts of the world. There's definitely technologies that are forgotten about, and I think there was a great reset at some point in time.
That's very interesting. I think there are people out there that believe that there were many resets.
Yeah.
Not just one, several. In fact, that topic alone could probably be another podcast on itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot to talk about when it
there's
comes
so much
to ancient,
there.
even just ancient Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to ancient Egypt.
Tons.
Yes.
According to some recent discoveries, there is some research that suggests that I think something about Egypt being here in the United States, and more specifically the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Supposedly, and I don't know if this is conspiracy theory, and I mean I could be totally wrong here, and I'd be more than willing to admit this. But I've seen some stuff that looks pretty convincing, but I wouldn't call it absolute truth. You know what I mean?
I think it's weird that in the Grand Canyon, there's top secret areas of the Grand Canyon that you are not able to go to.
Interesting.
They will shoot you if you go in those areas.
Nice. Sounds like Area 51.
Yes. It's the exact same deal, essentially, but it's down in the crater of the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
And another question, speaking of the Grand Canyon, what created the Grand Canyon?
Well, if I draw from my educational database, I would say water. Am I right?
You technically, educationally, like you said, water would erode,
right,
and it would create the Grand Canyon.
Right.
How long do you think it would take for water to erode the entire Grand Canyon?
Well, I think we were taught that it was, millions, hundreds of thousands of years?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that long. I think the concept of anything, at least here on Earth, being millions of years old is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think anything on Earth is 1,000,000 years old. I don't even know if the Earth is 1 million years old.
Yeah.
That's a long friggin' time, man.
That is a long time.
So, I mean, if I had to guess, I mean, maybe, 10 to 50,000 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
And
That sounds more...
that sounds more realistic.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway. Was that it about the Grand Canyon? Or something else?
Pretty much, yeah. That was the main thing about the Grand Canyon. I don't know much about that, so I can't speak on those sort of topics. I don't know enough to have a informational based opinion.
Sure.
But I've seen some videos and I've seen some things that point to. There's definitely something there that they don't want us to see.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. We're teetering on conspiracy theory here, but that's all right, man.
Oh, yeah.
We don't claim to have all the answers. All right. So, have you ever had a life after death experience?
A life after death experience. You mean personally?
Yes.
Like I died and I came back to life?
Yes.
No.
I think we covered this earlier, but...
Yeah.
It's one of my questions. Just wanted to stay consistent to my list, that's all.
Yeah.
All right, next. If they told you that you could download your consciousness onto a hard drive, would you do it?
Absolutely not.
What? Why?
I don't think I would do that.
Okay.
I think there's a reason that we are not computers, and the reason that our consciousnesses aren't being put on computers. I would, death is the only thing that's guaranteed in life, and I think that's one of the big parts of life is actually death. So I think, there's a reason for death. There's a reason that we shouldn't be alive forever, and that's why it's happening.
Interesting.
I think that there's a reason.
Yeah.
So me having my consciousness downloaded onto a hard drive would mean that I'm stuck. So if there is a possibility of my soul going somewhere else, it's not going to happen because it's stuck in the hard drive.
Good point. Good answer, man. Have you ever had a paranormal encounter?
Oh, boy. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Okay. Care to share?
Oh, yes.
All right.
So at the house that I currently live in, which is with my aunt, it's an apartment. And I've had a lot of unexplainable things happen in that apartment. My girlfriend can say these things have happened as well, and so can my stepbrother Hunter. He also can. He's essentially a witness to things that happened. So, it started very minor. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. I was still in high school. I was about to graduate high school was whenever it really started. And I was laying in the bed watching YouTube, scrolling through videos, and all of a sudden there was a water bottle that was about a quarter of the way full that was sitting in the middle of my desk. And it came straight off the desk and fell straight onto the ground. And I didn't know exactly what happened, but I remember putting my water bottle in the middle of the desk, and I know that a fan is not strong enough. The fan in my room is not strong enough to blow that water bottle off the desk. So that's where it started. And then a few weeks later, nothing happened. It was very calm. And then paintings that were on my bedroom walls started to fall off of their hooks. And again, most of the time that those paintings fell off, no AC was on, no fans were on. It just straight up came off of the wall and fell on the ground. And there's been times where I would pick it up because I'm usually laying in bed or in the bathroom whenever it happens. And I'll go up and I'll pick it up and I'll hang it back up, turn around, and it falls again. So in my head, I'm like, dude, what is going on? Because whenever that water bottle fell off, I did not believe in paranormal activity. I thought it was bogus. Genuinely, I thought it was a joke. And then it started to happen to me, and I started having second thoughts. And I was like, what on earth can explain paintings coming off of a screw hook? And I have ones that are held on by a string, and others that are held on by those little rigidy hooks that come on the back of some paintings.
Right.
And I hook them on there. So that means it has to come up off of the screw and then come off. So from my perspective, fans blow down. Nothing is coming up to push it up and off.
Right.
And another thing is, whenever I brought my brother Hunter over, because I was trying, the only purpose of him coming over there was to show him what's been going on. I was trying to be like, dude, look at this crap. This is crazy. And he was laughing. He was like, this is a joke. Because we were there for 3 hours and nothing happened. Nothing at all happened. We were there for 3 hours. And as soon as we were about to leave, I was like, okay, you know what? Nothing's happened in 3 hours. I guess it's just, I guess I'm just crazy or whatever. As soon as we were about to leave my room, he was in the doorway, leaving, about to close my door to leave. And every single hat off my hat rack fell off my hat rack. And it's the same deal with the hooks. It's a hooked hat rack.
Up and off.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to lift up in order to get them off. And they
Right.
all fell at the same time. And he's like, after he saw that, he walked back in there, and we were picking up my hats, and he was like, okay, it's a little weird. And in my head, I'm like, what do you mean that's weird? It's very weird. Nothing can bring all my hats off the damn hat rack. And then as we're picking up the hats, the paintings fall. And he's like, okay, I'm done here. So he literally told me, I love you, Kaden, but I'm not coming back here. He's like, I'm not coming back to your house. Like, you can come to my house, you can come hang out, we can, we're still cool, but I'm never coming back here ever again. And from that point on, it's been happening, once every month. It still happens till this day. I still have things going on in that apartment, and I don't know what it is. I have no clue. But
when's the most recent?
It was about 2 months ago.
Okay.
I was in the shower, and the lights in the shower kept flickering. And it was a constant flicker. And I pulled out my meter, my electrical meter, after I got out of the shower, and I opened up a switch, and I looked inside, and I tested it, and I saw that there was no voltage drop. There was no any reason for it to be flickering like that. And then it turned off. The entire switch turned off while I was looking at it. It straight up just...
You saw the switch move?
Yes.
Oh.
I had the switch pulled out, and I saw the switch move down while I was reading it with my electrical meter.
Wow.
And nothing, it's not like a breaker. It doesn't trip. It doesn't move on its own. It just supplies power, and it sends the power incoming and the power outgoing. That's all it does. It's a little contact in the middle. So there's nothing that would cause it to switch on and off. And then I put a new switch in. I bought a new switch, and I put it in, and there hasn't been any problems since then. But it was just weird because I was so curious that I even brought it out to the living room, and I replaced that switch with one of the switches that was already previously working, and nothing happened. There was no sign of flickering or anything. It was a perfectly normal switch.
Interesting.
It was very interesting.
I'm an extreme skeptic when it comes to this sort of thing. But at the same time, I'm fascinated with people's encounters, and I'm always willing to listen. I'm looking for truth. So I'm going to listen, and I'm going to judge, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going to use a critical comb to do that judging, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking for the truth.
Yeah.
When I listen and when I ask, it's because I believe there's something out there, but I don't know what it is. And, I've heard a lot of stories that were bogus, and you can tell it's bogus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm striving for realness here, Yeah. So, any theories as to, what this might be? In other words, the source, it sounds like, what's happening to you, it sounds legitimate. I'm wondering if maybe the switch thing could have been a malfunctioning switch.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't
And it
there. I
very
didn't
well
see
could
it.
have been.
I didn't see it. Didn't
Yeah.
happen to me. So, I mean, only you know, really, right?
Mhm.
But, as far as the other things go, I mean, there is no switch involved there. You know, that's something that physically was moved,
Yes.
not by you or anyone with you. And there certainly wasn't an earthquake, right?
Yes.
Okay. So any theories? What do you think is happening there? Because it isn't just you, right?
Mhm.
I mean, this kind of stuff happens to hundreds of thousands of people,
Yes.
probably daily,
Yeah.
right? Any ideas?
Um,
Have you ever thought of anything? Like, oh, maybe, wonder if this is happening, or you seen a movie that, maybe brought something to light that seemed like it could be a legitimate, real thing,
I really don't know. Like, I have some theories of what it could be, which is, souls that have been trapped in this, in this,
Realm.
yes, in this
Yeah.
dimension, in this
Right,
realm.
dimensional, yeah.
And they're stuck here either because of something that they did in their lifetime, or they chose to be here. I don't know, like, what it is. I don't know. I don't have any other theories besides that because I just don't know. I don't know what it could be. All I know is that stuff that isn't normal is happening to me, and it's definitely not normal.
Yeah.
It does not happen at all. So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it's very interesting.
All right, we'll move on. Do you believe that aliens exist?
Yes,
Wow, that was quick.
yes,
All right.
I do believe that aliens exist. Whenever thinking about the universe, or what we've been told is the universe, and how there are hundreds of millions of universes, we are not the only life. We're not just some random pieces of meat floating on a fucking space rock. You
Right.
know, there's got to be something else out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it could be. That they could look just like us. They could be, there could be a number of things that these beings could be. I don't know what they are, but there's been sightings. There's been, all these videos that have come up, especially like NASA footage of space itself. And do you remember that video that you showed me that one time? It was on Amazon Prime. It was called Aliens Among Us or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
E.T.'s Among Us.
Yeah.
In that documentary, it had me 100% sold that aliens exist. And they have, it shows just a fixated view of space and how many things are moving and going around in space. And it's not like it's far away from us. It's like right there. And to me, that's irrefutable evidence that aliens do exist.
All right.
I do not think that we are the only thing there. I think there is a lot of other things out there.
Okay. Do you believe that the Earth is flat or spherical?
This is an interesting topic as well. I don't believe that the Earth is flat, but I also don't believe that the Earth is round.
Ooh.
In a sense, I haven't personally been up there to be able to see if the Earth is flat or if the Earth is round. I have an open mind because there's always a possibility that the Earth could be flat, and we all could be told a complete lie our entire lives. It's not like they haven't lied about anything else. So, there's a huge possibility of the Earth being flat, and there's also a huge possibility of the Earth being round. I've seen some small science experiments about the Earth being flat and how light bends around a spherical, an Earth essentially. I've seen lots of science experiments that depict that the Earth literally is flat, and if the sun was as far away as it says it is with a spherical Earth, it wouldn't have the same impact that it does with a flat Earth. It's very interesting.
If you would have asked me a year ago if I thought the Earth was flat, I would have laughed in your face and told you were crazy and you should go back to school.
Yes.
But, I'm not going to lie. Nowadays, I'm doubting, that the Earth is a sphere. I mean, I'm not saying I'm sold 100% that the Earth is flat, but I
there's
certainly,
a possibility.
Looking into it and considering and doing the best that I can with what's available to me to figure out, what's really going on there. But, yeah, I'm with you. Next question is, if you could live forever, would you? But I think you kind of answered that one with the downloaded consciousness
the
onto a hard drive.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. If I could live forever, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. And that's good. I think some people would and some wouldn't, and it's completely understandable. I would love to get someone on the show maybe later down the line. Once we gain some traction and get more eyes and ears listening. Yeah. I'd love to get an expert on here concerning the hard drive, because I know nowadays they make hard drives out of synthetic DNA.
Yeah.
And they can store like millions of terabytes.
Yeah.
On like a piece of DNA the size of a
it's like a
cell.
microchip. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. Yeah. So anyway, I'd love to get an expert in here one day and see if we can get some real answers concerning that.
Yeah.
All right. So these some of these questions are like interview questions that you get asked when you're on an interview looking to get a decent job.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I know they can be a little tough. And if you don't have an answer for them, that's okay, man. Just say, hey, that one's, not for me. We'll skip it and we'll move on or whatever. If you find an answer later on, we can come back to it. What is a lesson that you've learned that you wish everyone knew?
A lesson that I learned that I wish everyone knew. Give it 100% the first time, every time.
Okay, that's good, man.
I saw this one video that really made me think. This guy, he was talking to, I believe, like a group of college people. And he said, I want everybody to raise their hand. And they all did this. They all raised their hand. And he said, now I want you to raise it higher. And they all raised it higher. And he said, ask yourself this. Why didn't you give it your all the first time? And that made me think, man. I was like, awesome. Dude, this guy is so right. Nobody gave it 100% the first time.
That's interesting, man.
It was a half-ass hand raise.
It's so simple.
Yes. So simple, but so impactful.
Yeah.
I wish everybody knew when there's a problem that comes to you, give it your 100%, no matter what.
Yeah.
And some people live with the victim mindset of, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? But what if it doesn't?
Sure.
What if it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
What if you do this and the outcome that you want does happen? Would you rather die knowing that you didn't try, or die knowing that you gave it your fucking best?
Sure.
You know?
That. It's a good answer, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to apply that to my life. I think there are a lot of people out there. One of the reasons that I'm doing the show is because I think that there are people out there that they have a lot to say.
Yeah.
They just, no one's asked them.
Yeah.
Or they have no one to talk to. But they have something extremely valuable to contribute. Not everyone, but there are some. And those are the ones that I want to reach. I want to reach the people that have, they've got a story that they'd love to tell someone, but no one's ever asked.
Yeah.
What is something you wish you could change about your past?
There is nothing that I wish I could change about my past. I wholeheartedly believe that my past has a direct impact on who I am today, and I wouldn't be the man that I am today if those things didn't happen in the past. So I'd say everything that has happened, good or bad, both it molded me to be the man that I am today. So I would never change anything about my past.
Good answer.
Yeah.
All right. If you could invent something that would change the world, what would it be?
If I could invent something to change the world, that's a interesting question. I don't know what I would invent to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that I could invent to change my personal life, but
Okay.
I don't know if.
What are you thinking?
I would think a car that's powered by hydrogen, and that's not powered by gasoline.
That wouldn't change the world.
I mean, it would, but
would
they
definitely
would
change the
silence
world.
me if I tried to
Oh, absolutely.
put that out
Okay,
there.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So
All right,
yeah,
well,
that
let's-
would change the world,
Let's say
but they wouldn't allow it.
let's say if you could invent something that would change the world and no one would try to kill you for it, what would it be? A hydrogen-powered car. I mean, it's not like that's ever happened before, right?
Definitely didn't happen. Definitely not. And that guy definitely was not killed
Yeah.
for
he-
making
Yep.
that invention.
Neither was the guy that created the car
water
that ran on
car.
water.
Yep.
Or air.
Yes.
Or anything but fuel
Dude, that guy
and
put a
electricity.
gallon of water in that car, and they got him from the east coast of the U.S. all the way to the west coast on
man.
1 gallon of water.
Yeah.
And they killed him.
Nice.
They silenced him.
All right, maybe we'll skip the world-changing inventions for now.
Yeah, I don't. I do not know.
All right. Next question. Who has made the biggest impact on your life?
I'd say you, honestly. I would say you. You are the reason that I have such an open mind and I'm able to see things from different perspectives. I look up to you a lot, and I think that I've most of the reason that I am who I am today is because of you. You pointed me in the right path. You pointed me in the right direction. When I was, walking off the path a little bit, you were like, get your ass back on that path. So, yeah, definitely you, I'd say.
All right. I guess for those of you that haven't figured it out yet, Kaden is my son. And I'm flattered, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to do great. You're going to do better things than I have, and you
Striving for it.
You
Yeah.
keep going down the path you're going. You keep striving, and I think you're going to surprise yourself.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
I know you will.
Well, that's what I know I'll do. Not what I'm hoping for. That's what I know I'll do. So,
All right. That's a good
Yes.
attitude.
yes.
All right. What is a dream that you've been putting off? I ask this question because, a lot of people, they get so busy and so caught up with their daily life,
Mhm.
going to work and, taking care of kids and family. And some people have, huge, tremendous time constraints on their life.
Yeah.
For example, some people go to work, they get off work, they take care of their kids, and then maybe they have an elderly loved one, that they're responsible for.
Yeah.
So they literally have zero time for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think this is the situation for lots of people.
Yes.
And I think a
Yes.
lot of those people have put their dreams on the back burner.
Mm-hmm. Because
And-
there are people that are around them, and they want to take care of them. They want to be there for them.
Yeah.
So,
And
yes.
and I brought this up because I want to encourage people to bring that dream from the back burner to the front burner.
Yeah.
And pick it back up again.
Yeah.
Even
Even
and
if it's
find the time.
a little bit of time at
Whatever
every
it is.
day.
A
Yeah.
minute, 2
Yeah.
minutes. Spend that time on that.
Yeah.
I believe it'll develop and grow and nurture and become something great and become a
Mhm.
dream again, and maybe a dream brought to life.
Yes.
So do you have a dream that you've been putting off?
Yeah.
What is it?
One dream that I've been putting off is having a project car.
Oh.
The main reason I've been putting it off is because I don't have enough money to have a project car. So there's some conditioning, but that is a dream that I've been putting off. I really do want to have, or not want to have. I will have a drift car, a project car, and something that I can just work on. And whenever I have kids one day, eventually teach them things about vehicles and what I'd want to do with my vehicle. So yeah.
Nice. So a project car.
Yes.
All right.
That's one dream I've been putting off on the back burner. Like I said, partly because I don't have enough money to have a drift car or any type of project car, but that's definitely something that I think about a lot, and that's part of my motivation.
All right.
To do what I want to do. So yeah.
Maybe I haven't taught you well enough if you don't have the money then. Maybe that's my fault. All right. Let's see. What is the hardest experience you've had to endure?
Like social-wise or
anything?
Just anything.
This is, again, I think a lot of people, they have issues. They have problems, but they're maybe ashamed to speak about them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is to encourage people to go, oh, hey, that guy Kaden on Pearls to Swine said, he had this issue, and I have that issue.
Yeah.
And I've been afraid to talk about it, but hearing Kaden talk about it is making me realize that it's okay, and I shouldn't be afraid or ashamed to talk about it. So, anything.
Let's say one of the hardest experiences that I've had to endure is...
Was it when you fell off that motorcycle?
Oh, man, dude, that was funny. No,
okay.
no, no.
Oh, all right.
The physical endurance, that the hardest thing that I've had to endure physically was probably pulling some 700s at work. Copper, that's some heavy stuff right there.
Yeah.
So physically, that was probably one of the hardest. I hurt real bad from that. I will say that. But mentally, one of the hardest things that I've had to endure was realizing how fast that I grew up. That's one thing that it was hard for me to kind of grasp that, time just flew by so quickly, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually a damn adult now, and I got to start doing my shit. That was probably one of the hardest mental things for me to endure. Like, you're not a kid anymore, and you've got to get your shit together.
Right.
Or shit will get you. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good, man. Good way to put it, too.
Yeah.
Shit's gonna get you.
Yeah. Gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah, that's good, man. Good
Yeah.
answer. Wait till you get older. You
Yeah.
know, time flies even faster. And that's another reason I wanted to do this is because there are a lot of people that are older. 2 or 3 times older than you.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how they feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're literally approaching the horizon.
Yes.
They're
looking back on their life.
Yeah.
Their whole life.
Yeah, and time has flown by, and they're beginning to look at, what they could have done or what they didn't do. You know what I mean? And which I guess are the same thing.
And that's what I mentioned earlier
what I mean?
as well with the whole, when you're older, thinking back, would you rather take the risk or die knowing that you didn't take the risk?
Sure. And
Goes back to that too.
And I'd rather take the risk.
Yes, me too.
I'd rather do it knowing that I tried than not.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. So you got the hardest experience. All right. What would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail?
I love this quote. I do. I love that quote. I would start my own business, like what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Eventually one day, I'm going to get my master's license and start my business.
There you go, man.
If I knew that I couldn't fail, that is what I would do.
That's good, man.
I'd start that business, and I'd build it up, and then eventually sell it.
Ooh, nice. An exit.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I think
'Cause
most...
I
yeah.
can't. Sorry to interrupt, but
That's all right.
I know that this puts as much stress as it does on my body now. Imagine me in 20 years doing the same shit.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
So if I build a ground off of it while I can and have the physical capabilities of doing that, I'm going to do that.
Good for you, man.
And I'm going to eventually sell it and buy other small businesses and just multi-manage, essentially. That's kind of what I've been thinking about doing.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it sounds on paper, but nothing is impossible.
Nothing ever is, and you're right. Nothing is impossible. Anything's
So,
possible.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Almost done here. What are you excited about?
What am I excited about? In my life today or just anything?
Man, anything. You know?
I'm excited to get my journeyman's license.
Ooh, see?
That's what I'm excited to do.
That's good, man.
I'm excited to get my journeyman's license.
Next step.
Pay raise and be able. I'm excited to get up every day and learn more. That's that's what I like doing.
Awesome.
Every day I go to work, I learn things, and I fuck up and I learn, and I fuck up again and I learn again. So, yeah,
Awesome.
that's one thing that's one of my main goals I'm looking forward to is definitely getting my license. So if I want to travel, I can travel. If I want to stay here local, I can stay local. I can go with whatever company I want to go with, which I'm probably going to stay with the one that I'm at right now, because they're just genuine, good people. But yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
How can people get a hold of you if they would like to?
If people wanted to get a hold of me, the best way would probably be my Instagram account.
Okay, what's your handle? Or...
Let me pull it up real quick.
yeah,
actually.
go ahead, man.
It is _S10_KQ_. And that is my handle.
All right, that's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, that's
All
the
right.
best way to get a hold of me.
Perfect.
Because I'm on Instagram almost every day. So.
All right, one of the things I like to do here is do a quick segment called Random Thoughts. Right now, I'll do them, but eventually I'd like for the listeners to write in their own random thoughts, and I would love to read them here on the show.
Yeah.
So here it is. First one. Nothing really matters. Why? In just 100 short years, you won't be around. All is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. Till next time, don't be afraid to question everything.
Oh, yeah.
If you have questions that you'd like to ask any of our guests, DM us at pearls_2swine on X, or send us an email at pearls@pearlstoswine.com. Oh, almost forgot. Nothing, and I mean nothing, on this show should be taken as absolute truth. Don't be afraid to question everything. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Every time you ask me about my brain pain, I tell you, take me to that place that we used to do. Mm-hmm. Every time you ask me about my brain pain, I tell you, take me to that place that we used to do. Mm-hmm.